It's time for Living with Victory, a program of hope and encouragement brought to you by Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Now, here are your hosts, Tony and Lorraine Giorgio, with today's message of perseverance.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather, when the winds of this world are blowing strong.
Welcome to Living with Victory. Proving life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain, giving you peace, power, and joy through perseverance and the faith in Jesus Christ. Just a reminder, the opinions expressed on this program are solely the opinions of the host and hostess. Quick reminder also, you can email us your comments. We'd love to hear from you, good, bad, indifferent, at livingwithvictory@gmail.com. livingwithvictory@gmail.com. Our announcer at the end of the program will give you further information how to contact us and donate if you'd like. Also, want to remember one of our partners, the Journey Christian Newspaper. It's a free print and online publication offering encouraging articles, local Christian events, as well as world and local news from a Christian perspective. So if you want to learn more, you could visit journeychristiannews.com, the Journey Christian Newspaper, encouraging Christians on their walk with Christ. And also want to let you know, upcoming event, real quick, the first annual WNC Christian Business Expo will be held on October 20th from 10 to 7 p.m. at the WNC North Carolina Center's Davis Building. It's a new building. The event's going to feature a lot of local ministries, churches, music, seminars, you name it. If you want more information, it's at 828-676-6535. It's sponsored by the Journey Christian Newspaper, and you can go online to their website, and we will give you further information on this in the coming weeks ahead. And now, I want to introduce my wonderful co-host, 45 years worth, man. I don't know how you did it, dear. But she's got the word of the day, and she'll have the topic for the day. My wonderful wife, Lorraine. Hey, babe, how are you?
I'm just fine today, and I thank everyone for joining us. Today's topic is not my will, his will. I'm reading from the Amplified version of the King James Bible. Philippians 2:13 and 14. Not in your own strength, for it is God who is all the while effectually at work in you, energizing and creating in you the power and desire both to will and to work for his good, pleasure and satisfaction and delight. For his good pleasure and satisfaction and delight. That's really great. Do all things without grumbling and fault-finding and complaining against God, and questioning and doubting among yourselves. That's pretty powerful.
Wow. For sure.
I guess the hardest thing we have to do, or that we would have to do, is to give up our own will and our own plans and say, okay, Lord, whatever you want, I'm here for you. And just let him guide you, lead you, and take you wherever it is he wants you to go.
Oh, yeah, and let me tell you, when you say his will, not mine, get ready for that Wild Toad ride. Remember in Disney, they had the Wild Toad ride?
And that was a Wild Toad ride for us when we moved up there, believe me.
Yeah, it really was.
But it was also exciting.
Yes.
It made you feel satisfied and fulfilled that he picked us the privilege of doing what he wanted.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And I'll tell you a quick background here on what we're talking about when you say his will, not mine. We were in good shape in Fort Lauderdale. We had the money, we had the, you name it, we had it all. Well, God said it's time for a change, I guess, and things started to turn around. The job was lost, the whole scene just seemed to fade. We thought, okay, we've had enough of this. And what we did is, my wonderful wife here said, like the athletes, when they win the big games, I want to go to Disney World. Okay, you want to go to Disney World? Yeah, we're in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, I'm going to go to Orlando. I haven't a clue. But we had all the things in place for Disney World. We had the people who could get us the jobs. We had the contacts, everything. Okay, let's go. So we move to Orlando, sight unseen. Real estate gets us a house to rent. We never saw it. We just moved into it. Okay, Lauren had applied. She got a job. I'm supposed to get a job. I got contacts in the music business, the whole bit. And we get there, and Lauren gets her little job, and she's happy. She's temporary. We don't have anything. And I don't get the job because they had a freeze at the time at Disney World, and we couldn't do that. And I'm saying, hey, something ain't right here, you know. But his will be done, right? Lo and behold, the whole scene changes now. There's a little bit of pressure from all the money we had and all the, how would you say, the social ambiance of being out there and being whatever you were, community leader, I don't know, politician almost. It ended, okay? It ended. And here I am saying, uh-oh. And I'm trying to get into Disney, and it's not happening.
When God closes a door, I don't care what you do. You could stand on your head. You could get a crowbar. That door is not going to open. Thank God it didn't open, because he led us through another door that was much more beautiful.
I did get in finally, all right, not with what I wanted, but I got in. I did some work, but that wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. Because unbeknownst to us, what was happening around us was this little child who needed help. He had leukemia. The family was struggling. Now, I don't have an organization. I have nothing. I just minded my own business. I was the social director of the area in that time, but, you know, not a paid position. It was a volunteer thing. God brought it into my mind that maybe I could do something, if maybe I could talk to the father, young couple. Sure enough, there was a problem there. They were stopping treatment on the child. The father owed money, the whole ball of wax. And here I am trying to get my own situation settled, and I can't, and I'm fighting on that end. In the interim here, while we're there, my dad passed away. I mean, things were starting to go crazy, all right? But all of a sudden, working at Disney wasn't the focus and getting on. It was this child, and I had inside of me such a passion to help this family. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I'm minding my own business, but something's happening, and the direction we took was totally different. The ministry that started was out of the blue. It just stupefied both of us. I still can't think of, a logical explanation for it. God's will was sitting in that child and his family, taking them on. We started what today is known Compassion for Kids, and still exists, 30 years later, helping this person. And I remember being at work, and here I am at my breaks on the telephone, public telephone in those days, and I'm calling, making connections for this child to get help. And I'm calling the media, and I'm calling. In fact, one instance, I'm working, I'm minding my own business. Secretary comes in. I was in the reservation department. She says to me, "You've got a call out there from the governor's office." She said, you have to understand this. I'm an hourly employee. I'm minding my own business. 15-minute breaks were spent on the phone. The job no longer was important. The job was do something about that family, help that family get what they need. And that's what we did. And we didn't know what we were doing. But his will, his spirit, God's Holy Spirit just filled me. I couldn't get away from it. But what we did in those years with God as our base and our strength, you'd say, nah, you couldn't do this, but I couldn't let go of it.
It took me a while to realize what was happening. Then I realized that the Holy Spirit really got his hooks into Tony with this. I had to change my attitude and where I was heading, because I thought I was going up there just to work and have a normal life. But God said, no, 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 that's not why you're here. And once I got on board, I couldn't let go of it either.
The funny part is, when it's God, when everything is so impossible to do logically, and it happens. We had no money, no training. We didn't know anything about charity, about cancer in children, about helping, about fighting a system. And we did it, though, through Jesus Christ. That's who did it. It became something that we ended up on the media. We ended up everywhere we needed to be for people to come forward and help these families. And that's the thing. God threw us into it with the help. He said, okay, you follow and I'll open the doors. And he did. You say, oh yeah, his will, not mine. Remember, you may be in for a big surprise, but he always lets you come out on the side of plus, not minus. We never wanted for anything. We didn't. Lauren had the job over at Disney, but she left then because things were getting crazy. I needed help.
God takes care of his own. If your heart is in the right place and you really know that you're doing his will, you're in a very safe place. Really, you're in a very safe place, no matter what the circumstances may look like. God will supply everything you need as long as you are doing his will.
We ended up with this organization without a penny, doing so much throughout the state and then throughout the United States. We're not talking, if I had a telephone, I could help a kid in California, North Carolina, South Carolina. It doesn't matter. So remember that if you have to, you can do. As long as you're doing his will, he's not going to let you drop. But it may be a wild toad ride. But then I kept dancing in the rain. That's what we're talking about. Don't worry about those storms to pass. You just keep dancing in the rain with Jesus.
I just want to read 1 Peter 4:1-2. So since Christ suffered in the flesh for us, for you, arm yourselves with the same thought and purpose, patiently to suffer rather than fail to please God. For whoever has suffered in the flesh, having the mind of Christ, is done with intentional sin, has stopped pleasing himself in the world and pleases God, so that he can no longer spend the rest of his natural life living by his human appetites and desires, but he lives for what God wills. And once you start doing that, you'll never want to go back.
Isn't that the truth? And he gave me the education I needed, not from the school, but he gave it to me. So remember, his will be done, not yours, and just get ready and hang on. Okay, we're coming to the end. If you want a copy of this show, ask for offer 12-724, and we'll send it to you absolutely free. And if you feel that we're helping you in any way, you could send us a donation, a contribution, and listen to our announcer, Tim Hodges, and he will tell you where to send it and give you all the other information. Okay? If you want, you can also email us at livingwithvictory@gmail.com, and you'll get an answer back quickly as we can get it to you. Okay? And now, until next week, this is Tony
and Laureen Giorgio.
You keep dancing in the rain because Jesus is your umbrella. Love y'all.
You've been listening to Living with Victory with your host, motivational and inspirational speaker Tony Giorgio. Support for Living with Victory comes from Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Your tax-deductible donations can be sent to Compassion for Kids, P.O. Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751. Tony is also available to speak to your group or organization. You can call him at 828-926-4600. Join us again next week at this time for another uplifting story of dancing in the rain.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side.